everybody. Um, Welcome to Status of the Nation. I've been gone for a bit, um, doing life things, but it's good, I've been gone, but we're back now, and welcome to Status of the Nation. Thank you for finding your way back to the channel again. And yeah, so per usual, this week we're going to be breaking down some of the biggest stories that not only happened in our great republic, but just across the world, and just generally what's been going on in the world of politics. So oh yes, as you can see, I'm taking part in my own 7-day lipstick challenge, but I'm just doing it for 1 day. This that I have right now, it's Red One, certainly red. I love it. It's so smooth, it's so soft on the lips. It's my favorite, and I mean, it's a nice red color, which I'm all the way here for it. Anyway, story number 1. So first things first, we're going to be talking about Julius Malema. I feel like Julius Malema is becoming a bit of a trans-border politician, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So the EFF was campaigning, and they were in Limpopo, and him as the leader of the EFF, he basically came out to say that, everything that's been happening in Zimbabwe and the unrest that's happening, and that he feels like the Zimbabwean citizens are better off than the South African citizens, because at least unlike South African citizens, they've got land in their hand. And for me, the school of thought really bothers me when South African politicians and many other politicians across the African continent always say this about Zimbabwe. They neglect to remember that Zimbabwean civil servants are not paid. People are struggling to make ends meet, but people must just be happy because you're suffering, but you're suffering, with land in your hand. And what I don't like about it is that I feel like, especially for, a party that's big on land reform, you want to use that as your aha moment, but you're ignoring a lot of complexities about what was actually the land issue and what it was really all about, And I feel like in terms of the bigger picture, all politicians, not only just in South Africa, we need to take the good and the bad lessons from what happened in Zimbabwe. But what I will not stand for and what I do not appreciate is the land reform being used as a case study when people are politricking, and I almost feel like, it's without complete understanding. And it's very true of a lot of our politicians, especially in our country, that they don't quite grasp what is happening in that nation, what's happening in that country. And because they don't, they so quickly say these things and let's be like that country and let's take the land and let's do this and do that, but you don't understand the complexities of what it actually entails. So my heart really is to just, if we're gonna use Zim as a case study, then let's take the good and the bad, but you're not just gonna ignore everything else in the process. So the other big thing that's been happening is Zimbabwe in the movement of this flag. I have to say that when it was all happening, I felt very inspired. I was incredibly motivated, and I was just moved to see Zimbabwean people coming together for the betterment of their country, for the betterment of themselves and their children and everything. And it was also really encouraging seeing a lot of Zimbabweans in the diaspora also, wherever they are in New York, saw some protests there, and it really was encouraging to see that everyone is coming together in this specific time. And I just wanted to take the time to just salute the people in Zimbabwe and to say that you as a people are doing a really great thing, and it really is a great inspiration to see you guys come and rally and just stand together for your country. And what I wanted to say though is that, especially to some South Africans, that this moment that's happening in Zim right now, it's not about us. It's not about us. It's not about us feeling whatever it is that we're feeling. It's not about us. And I think the most important thing that we're going to do is that if we want to be supportive, if we want to be an ally, it means that we need to step back and actually listen to what the people of Zimbabwe are saying. Listen to what the people are saying. Listen to what they want. Listen to what they feel. Listen to all of these things. It's not about us. Because I saw a conversation where people were talking about what is it in for us if we help? And it really broke my heart to think that this is where we've gotten, where our level of humanity is to say that I'm only going to help you if I think I'm going to get something out of it. And for me, it really broke me, And also another school of thought that I would really want to be tired is a school of thought that says that Zimbabwe and other countries, they open up their their countries to South Africa during the apartheid, and that's why we must help. I don't like that school of thought, because it means that we're only helping because you did something for us. I feel like we need to get back to a place of realizing and knowing that we help because it's the right thing to do. We help because these are human beings and it's their humanity. We help because we're moved by compassion. That's why we help, not because what is it in it for us, or because we're like, yeah guys, because they help us and now they owe us. Because I feel like as soon as we start to think about how we relate to each other as countries on those lines, that's probably why we have the things we have happening in the country right now, where people are helping because I want something in return or I'm paying back. No, let's be moved by compassion. If we're gonna help and we're gonna be involved and we're gonna be an ally, let it be because of compassion. So in American news, Donald Trump over the week has been nominated as the official Republican candidate for presidency. So that means that he's the guy that's on their ticket, and I don't know, I honestly don't know what to say. I don't know what this is going to mean or what this is going to look like, not only for the American public but for the rest of the world, because I feel like you're naive if on any level you think that anything that happens in any country has no impact or no bearing on us. That's not true. Everything that happens somewhere else affects us and impacts us in any kind of way, in all the ways. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to play itself out. In terms of the Democrat, of course, it's very obvious that Hillary will get the ticket, and she will be their candidate as well. So in terms of the two of them, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, Trump, man, I don't even know, and then you have his wife on the other end, which I'm also like, I don't know, is it just like a lack of respect? Do they just not care? Do they just feel like no matter what, people are going to vote for them? I don't know. I just think it's very telling. And for me, I feel like it's interesting whenever people talk about Donald Trump and they say, he's just this bad person, like he's an isolated incident. That's not true. For him to get where he got, it means that he speaks to the heart of lots of Americans. And for me, that's what's troubling. If he was some anomaly there in the corner just making all this noise, it'd be something else. But the fact that he got up until this point, it means that people voted for him. He was carried by votes. So it means that he spoke to the heart of a lot of Americans. And that's slightly troubling. But in terms of Hillary, so the news broke, I think it was a day or two ago, that she's picked a running mate. She's picked her VP, and his name is Tim Kaine. So from what I've been reading, a lot of people are generally okay with Tim. He's got a good track record. He's proven himself with various positions that he's held. He got elected in Richmond, Virginia, which is a predominantly, black area. What are some of the things that people said about him? Oh, that he goes to a black church, which, it speaks to, a lot of things and a lot of people, that he's Catholic, but he's pro-life, and that he advocates gun control. So he's a lot of these different things, and I think, he's earned his stripes. He's got like a lot of credentials behind him, and a lot of people feel comfortable with him as a choice because he speaks to so many people on so many different levels. Of course, Trump has had a lot to say about him being picked as a VP. Obviously, he's not going to agree. But for people who see it for what it is, a lot of people are pleased with the pick that Hillary made. So we'll see. I mean, Donald Trump hasn't announced his VP yet. So yeah, only time will tell. Then Turkey. I don't know, I just feel like there's just so much that's going on. I think when the news of the coup or the attempted coup or whatever it is, when it broke, everyone was very much confused and people didn't really know what to make of it. So what I found interesting is that even in the midst of, Turkey going through whatever it was going through, even in the midst of all that chaos, there's still room to be anti-black and anti-African. That really hurt me because I'm like, I cannot believe that this man really just got up here and this is what he has to say. That it's some just big running joke, and we're not some country in Africa where a coup and this happens. And it's coming back to my belief that a lot of what's happening in a lot of countries, it's because the people that be and the people that are elected are not taking the time and stepping back and hearing what the people in their countries are saying. Because again, I have to stress, no one wakes up and says we're just gonna bomb rush everything, I'm gonna burn everything to the ground. No one does that, you know, especially when it's the citizens of that country. No one just wakes up and says, you know what, today I feel like let's just cause chaos. No one does that. And I think by the time that people get there, whether it's the military, the this and the that, it's because people are tired. And if the leaders and the people that are elected are not going to take the time to hear people, then these things are going to keep happening. These things are going to keep flaring up, and everybody's going to keep wanting to be surprised and, you know, want to call it third forces, you know, like our republic does. And, you know, oh, it's this and it's that. And it's like, if you would just stop and just listen to what the people are actually saying, I think it would solve a lot of issues and also just bring a light to a lot of different things. Then the SABC. I think everything that's been happening with the public broadcaster has really just been very disappointing. More than it just being, you know, one man who's done all of these different things. I think it's really just been very disappointing to get to this point. I think it's even beyond that the public broadcast is in trouble. I think it's just maybe even at a point of no return. And for me, it just makes me sad because I feel like it's ruined what the public broadcaster stood for, you know. I mean, when it was created and the things that the SABC was able to do, and when you look at it now, you're like, it's just not the same. I mean, if you think about it, it was because of the SABC and the public broadcaster being there that when Nelson Mandela walked out of prison, we saw it. You understand? Like, they showed it to us, and not even just to us, but to other African countries. Like, people were able to get a look into not only what's happening in South Africa, but, you know, at that time to be inspired by it. You know, like, the public broadcaster did a lot of things, like, not even just for other African countries looking into South Africa, but for us looking out, you know, learning and knowing about what's going on in other countries. And when I see it where it is now, and I'm like, it just makes me sad, because I don't think that this is what it stands for or what it stood for. And the fact that, you know, all the decisions and everything has led them up until this point where they no longer respected, like, it's just sad. So I don't know moving forward what it's going to look like, you know, for the country, but I suppose only time will tell. And then there was the tweet that our Minister of Sport sort of added his own 2 cents to. I think when I saw this tweet, I was like, damn. Like it really pretty much just sums up how things are not only in our nation but in other nations. And it made me sad, because it made me realize that, is this what we're saying that it comes down to? You know, that before you get into politics, or before you get into the position that you had all of these great ideas and all these things that you wanted to do, but now that you're there, you're just not going to play that game. And it made me sad, because it's like, are we saying that that's the level of people that we now have as our leaders, that the things that you want to speak about and things that you want to critique, but, you know, you can't because you're eating? It just made me feel really sad. But also I felt like it was such a correct reflection of not only what we see in this nation, but in other nations. It was just very shocking, to say the least. And again, still not very surprised, but it felt very weighty that he actually, you know, put it out there, because I was like, damn, that's the hook. And then lastly, in this week of politricking, as you guys all know, the 3rd of August, local elections, guys, please go out and vote. Vote for whoever you wanna vote for who you feel speaks to your issues. Just go out and vote. For me, that's my thing. Just go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. If there was ever a time, this is it, you know? Because, you know, and now because with the elections, you know, our politicians are always doing the most. Like this, for example. Why is our president dabbing? Like, you're not that guy. And I get it, you know, our president and the Obama of Soweto like to study the real Obama, and they seem as this like really cool dude, you know, he's hip, he's cool. The difference is though is that, like, with Obama, it's sincere, because you believe it. You believe that he's, you know, out here listening to Jeezy, you know, he sings Rihanna's work, like, he's the cool guy and he's relatable. But not you. not our politicians. That's not who you guys are. Just stick to who you are, stick to your lane, because anything else that you do outside of that, it's very transparent and we can all see through it, and we really don't appreciate it because you're not these people, so cut it out. And then I saw that the ANC bought a whole chopper, like a chopper, fam. Like, I don't even know what the chopper is for, but there you go, they have it. And from my understanding, I think they use it to like get in between where they're campaigning and all. But this is the thing, because it's a chopper, like only a few people can be in it, so who gets to decide who rides in the chopper? Like, I just have a lot of questions. And was it really necessary? I mean, I feel like with all the cars and everything else that gets spent, you just were like, how about? It just wasn't a good idea. It really wasn't a good idea. Like, I don't think anyone is gonna explain it to me in a way that I'm gonna go, you know what, that was great, that was no, it just wasn't. Then the DA also had their little bit of politricking, giving people bread. I just, you know, no plastic for the bread, like no nothing, nje. Like, you just out here handing loaves of bread to people just like that. Like, I mean, I guess. And then there are the poster wars. So this happens every time there's elections, and you know, a poster wars is basically, you know, like when a party puts up a poster and then another party comes up and puts up a poster about that, and it's become like a whole thing, and the IEC is going to get involved, and everybody's just upset because they're like, don't put your poster over my post. And I'm like, dude, I guess, because my thing is, if people know that they're going to vote for you and they know who the candidates are, I don't think for the most part people are really moved if I saw one poster and then I walk by and I see another one. It's like, all right, but like, I know who I'm gonna vote for or whatever. But like, yeah, poster wars, it's a real thing and people are catching feelings about it. And then lastly, Mail and Guardian ran a story that basically said that former President Thabo Mbeki is just not about this ANC. They were like, you know, he was asked to campaign and he swerved them, and he was like, oh, today you guys want to call me, but in 08 you're ready to get rid of me, type of thing. That's basically the story that's been floating, that, you know, and I think a lot of other parties have been using it as a, oh, but look, even, you know, the former members of the parties want nothing to do with it, you know, if Thabo Mbeki is saying leave me out of it, whatever. But that's not true, because he went on his Facebook and, you know, he issued a statement through a spokesperson to basically say that, look, he's still a member and he's sick and tired of you guys saying that he's not about the ANC, whatever. It really wasn't even that long, but in what I got from it was him just basically saying, stop it, I'm a member of this party and you guys need to quit it. But yes, but yeah guys, that was it. That's a quick roundup of what's been happening in not only our nation but all of the nations across the globe. And yeah, so we'll see what the rest of the week has to bring for us. But yes, in terms of South Africa and what's going on, 3rd of August, guys, go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. Please like, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.